October 31st. What the fork? Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So, it has been a very long time since I have sat down and filmed a video. So, I thought today we'll just do a little get ready with me, get caught up on live. Where have I been? We're going to do a whole face of makeup. It's actually Halloween, so I'm getting ready actually to go to my BFF's birthday party. I use that term party loosely. There will be about 6 or 7 people there, 4 of which live in the house. So it's not really, it's all family, it's all fine. I've got some new stuff I'll be trying out. So cross your fingers this stuff works out well. But without any further ado, let's get into this. So I'm actually gonna pull my hair back a little bit because it's getting kind of at an unruly curly stage in its game. So I'll leave all the products listed down below, and then we'll do a couple of spritzes of the Urban Decay Quick Fix, you know, because it's like my primer's primer. And a little bit of eye cream here. We got Believe Moisturizing Eye Balm. Eye Balm. I think I said balm. Eye Balm. Dang it, if Belief didn't make me a believer in freaking eye creams. Okay, so we're going to start getting into it. Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. There's a subject I don't want to talk about at all. I'm not going to talk about it. It's Rona. A lot of you that know me and have been following me, you know I'm in healthcare. I know a lot of people probably want to know how it's been, you know, with everything going on. And frankly, it's a subject I just don't want to talk about it, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. And I will hope that you guys would understand kind of why I don't want to talk about it, why I don't want to bring it up. It's even hard to kind of just start to talk about it. As you can hear, I keep umming and ahhing it. I lost my nursing mentor to this, and my other mother, one of my other mothers, I should say. So I also had 4 friends and coworkers, colleagues who came down with the illness. I switched my position last year, and so I no longer work in the nursing units. I don't work on the hospital floors. We were sent home to work from home in the last days of April. So actually, our official start date's like May 1st. It impacted me greatly, but because there's so much heartache that is attached to it, I just really don't want to divulge into it. It doesn't put me in a good headspace. It's still hard to kind of talk about and get around. So I hope you guys would appreciate and understand that. That's just not something I'm going to share. I can't. It doesn't put me in a healthy headspace. And I'm sure there's a lot of people going through that same thing as well. So we won't talk about that. We will talk about kind of my transition of coming home to work and how that has kind of impacted me a little bit. We'll start there. But for now, let's get on to the rest of the face. Let's get this makeup started. So I got this little tiny sample of the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I am the shade 4N1. So we're going to do this. We're just going to go double wear, and we're going to talk and chit-chat. So how has it been working from home? Well, let me just say it is an adjustment. So for any of you who now, you know, work from home, that were able to be fortunate enough to be able to take your job home, and I say that with all earnesty, because there are millions of people displaced from their employment who will not go back, and that is a bit of a tragedy. Well, it's not a bit of a tragedy, it is a tragedy. I will say this, I miss people. I tend to linger on my phone calls a lot longer with patients. And I think they tend to lean on the phone a little bit longer with me too. So that's a bit of a change. But I do like it, but I do kind of miss, I know it sounds crazy, I don't miss my 30-second commute to work. That's freaking amazing. So I will not miss that part, the commute. But I do kind of miss a bit of the routine. You know, when you've just done something for so long, and then to not do it anymore, it's weird. You know, I feel weird. I've felt since this has taken place, like something's just off. You know, is that not the weirdest thing? when you're so used to doing something day in and day out, and then you just stop doing it one day, just like stop, it's just really weird. So yeah, just that whole getting in the mode of working from home has just been really weird. Like the first couple of weeks, I wore pajamas. Not even gonna lie. Actually, like all summer, I wore pajamas, and there was a method to this madness as to why I wore pajamas all summer long. Because at lunch, I would take a swim break. Yes, it was amazing. So yes, I would stay in pajamas. Well, I would wear my suit under like my jammies. Like take a shower. It's crazy. Take a shower, put on clean jammies, put my suit on underneath. That was my thing every morning. And then at lunch, I would take my lunch break in my pool. So I'm not complaining there at all. I mean, it's been a pretty amazing freaking summer. But I am enjoying working from home. I feel very fortunate that I work in a position that affords me to do that, so that I was able to, keep my job and everything else. Our HSO, we are 32,000 strong employees. HSO, if you guys don't know, that's a health system organization. So, like in our HSO, we are 13 community hospitals and one large teaching hospital, plus a children's hospital, which is Children's Hospital, and a university. That's 32,000 employees, and we had to furlough 10%, and they went across the board. They did it fairly. I was fortunate enough I didn't have to be furloughed. We had people in our department that volunteered. Well, I was very fortunate in that, but there are so many people who are not, and my heart truly goes out, which is why I kind of really, that's about as far as we're going to talk about like the work from home stuff, because it just starts dredging up, and it's everything just hurts right now. Just everything hurts, everything is painful, everything is devastating. It's just yeah, we're gonna stop talking about work. We're gonna move on to something bigger and kind of exciting. So I've been wanting to come back and do some filming for a while, but I've had a couple of obstacles. One, my I think just general kind of like mental health in trying to film. I mean, I think we're all kind of there. Another one was just kind of like lack of inspiration, I guess it is, maybe. I wasn't feeling too inspired to do anything. And then lastly, but the most coolest and exciting news, I had to learn how to kind of talk again in a way, because I got Invisalign. So we're going to move to, I'm going to set this while we talk about Invisalign. This is the Laura Mercier. This is the translucent, but it's pressed. I really, I don't know, I kind of like using the pressed version a little bit more than I do the loose, because it's so much more easier to control. That's the Invisalign. So I had some major stuff going on with my teeth. I had an appointment set up pre shutdown of everything to come in. I was going to do an Invisalign consultation, but I had two crowns and they both broke. I had those crowns done when I was mid 20s. So I guess as I got older, my mouth changed shape. Let me preface this by I am terrified of the dentist. Like, terrified. Because I've never walked in one and didn't walk out in pain. We're going to use this oldie but goodie. Oh my god, it's the Rimmel Natural Bronzer. I have this appointment, like, scheduled. I want to say I was supposed to go in April. And I was doing an Invisalign consultation, and I was going to get my teeth fixed, my crowns. Well, then, Rona. And so they had to move my appointment. I was like, oh, okay, it's no big deal. I rescheduled it for June 23rd because it was the day after my birthday, and I knew I was going to be off because I always take off like a week for my birthday. And a week prevy to that appointment, I woke up one day and there was a big old knot, like on the side of my gum. Like a huge zit. Like you could see it. Like you could see the white of the head, everything else. I was like, that's probably not good. Now, mind you, it didn't hurt because there's no root in there, so there's no nerves. Then it was my birthday. My birthday was on a Monday this year. You know, and I was like, okay, this is bad, because they had called me to confirm my appointment. And I was like, yeah, I said, but since then I have developed a problem. They're like, for your Invisalign consultation. I was like, well, I'm coming in for Invisalign and my crowns that fell off. I said, but I have developed a problem. I said, I've got an infection in my mouth now. I've got to get this taken care of. And they were like, oh, well, you know, crap, this is only for your Invisalign consultation. I said, well, it was like 6 months ago when I made this appointment. I don't remember what it was for. I'm like, so what can I do? So they're like, okay, well, just call this emergency number. They'll get you, and they'll be able to get you in tomorrow, you know, on an emergency basis. I was like, okay, no big deal. Ooh. God, I gotta be more careful with this Amrezy, because it's the only freaking highlighter I know how to use. So they're like, yeah, just call, you know, we'll get you in, you know, you'll come in an emergency, it'll be just fine. I was like, okay, cool, that'll work for me. So of course I called my emergency appointment, and they're like, yeah, we'll get you in for emergency. She goes, but we can also do your Invisalign consultation, you know, and everything, you know, talk about it and everything while you're there. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I come in and he's like, yeah, he goes, those tips are going to have to come out. I'm like, what? Okay, I don't know anything about dentistry, okay? That's not my field of expertise. I can tell you about the forms and functions of the body and things like that. Okay, those are things I'm good at. Science, not dentistry, which is witchcraft. So, no surprise again, Tarte Amazonian Clay Seduced. Favorite blush on the planet. So, I'm like, what do you mean the tips have to come out? And he says, well, he goes, you know how a tooth looks, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I had root canal, didn't they pull all that out? And they're like, you're so cute. I'm like, what are we talking about? He's like, those little tips are still in your gum. I'm like, where? Because you can't see them. There's nothing there but gum. He goes, no, they're down in there. Those have to come out. They'll rot. So he starts throwing around words like oral surgery. Now I'm in full panic mode. I'm like, this is not fair. Why? What did I do? But I told him, I said, okay, so I got over it. And I said, okay, well, I also want to do Invisalign. I said, because I feel like my teeth are starting to crowd. I said, and I don't know why. And he said, yeah, you've definitely got some crowding going on. He goes, and you also have very small teeth. And I'm like, I've always felt like I have pretty small teeth. He's like, yeah, no, you actually do have kind of small teeth. And I said, and they all want to bunch up. No social distancing once at all the space in my mouth. And you teeth all want to come to one spot. So it was causing these teeth down here, my eye teeth, my incisors. Like you can see now, I mean, I'm on tray 7 of my Invisalign, so it's actually done a lot. But they were starting to come out and turn because they were getting crowded. And like all these teeth were bunching up, you know, and then of course, you know, these teeth up here were gaps. So it's like, yeah, he goes, yeah, definitely. We can do you're a perfect candidate for Invisalign. I'm like, well, talk to me money and numbers. I am on tray 7 of 20. It's 28 total, but it's 26 to move my teeth. So one's a retainer tray that I'll use when I'm done, and then one is my permanent nighttime retainer tray because I will have to wear a retainer at night. Because I've developed TMJ because I clench while I sleep. So some all-nighter here. Let's get this powder set in place. Yes, I use a ridiculous amount of all-nighter. I know it. Each tray has just gotten a little bit tighter. It doesn't really hurt anymore. It hurts a little. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's braces, you know. So it does hurt a little bit, but I mean, it's just taking them in and putting them in and taking them out. That's what hurts. So I'm very excited about Invisalign. It's something I should have done a long time ago, but again, terrified of dentist. So we're gonna move on to eyes. I've been dying to try this palette out. It is from Profusion. I know, I'm sorry, that light kind of blinds sometimes. It is called the Emeralds palette. I mean, all of me wants to use this. You know, it's blue. Every single piece of me wants to use this. But I think I want to stick with, I think I want to definitely use this. Ooh, boy, these are really, really soft and creamy. I've not used one of these Profusion palettes yet. Ooh, that's pretty. And then let's see this one. Yeah, that one's kind of, oh, there you go. Not much. Oh, that's my, I think that's a finger with a scar in it, so that's not going to pick up really well. I do have some news that's, well, it just kind of sucks. You know what this palette doesn't have? An all over kind of lid shade. So I'm going to pull out, I usually keep this guy up here for those palettes that don't have that. This is a Brulee from Wet n Wild. And I'm using Urban Decay Primer Potion because I'm out of my Holy Grail. So we're going to take some Brulee. And we're just going to pop it all over to set that primer. I do have kind of like some, it's scary, but it's not scary stuff that's kind of going on. Health-wise, my health has not been the best the past couple of years. It's not horrible. Like, I'm fine. Like, right, like I got 5,000 things wrong with me, but I'm fine. You know, it's not like it's necessarily impacting me so much, but it started really impacting me this year a lot more. So back in February, I had a couple of things I was doing my yearly mammogram. I had that going on, and then I, of course, you know, had to have the yearly bit appointment. Which I, fun fact, just had like 2 weeks ago because, again, Rona, thanks. But I've been having like female problems. So this is where if you want to go ahead and check out the video, go right ahead. But I've been having some issues and I knew it was becoming a problem. I have this thing where apparently I like to grow teratoma tumors. I grew one on my right ovary and in 2005 had that removed. When he came out, he was 20 pounds. I named it Randy because anything that large that comes out of me gets named. And if you don't know what a teratoma tumor is, if you have a weak stomach, now's not the time to Google one. They are germ cell tumors. They're benign, you know, mature, let me take that back. Mature teratoma tumors are benign. Immature ones can be cancerous. They can be. But mature ones are completely benign. This is a mature teratoma tumor that I have. Anyway, they are germ cell tumors or stem cell tumors, if you will. They can grow, they have the same stuff in them that lets them grow up and be whatever it is they want to be. Whether that be hair, teeth, bone, organ tissue, whatever. They can be whatever they want to be. Problem with the teratoma tumor is that it's it suffers from, and I make no light of this, guys. I've worked in mental health for 10 years. It suffers from dissociative identity disorder, DID, also known as multiple personality. So it just becomes all of those things. This one, not as big, much smaller. I've had it mapped a couple of times. They found it, actually, fun fact, in 2013 when I had to have my appendectomy because my appendix decided that it was in a toxic relationship and needed to get out of it on New Year's Day. So this crease was this color right here, which is called russet. That was so super pigmented. Holy cow, this is... Emily's been telling me about Profusion. I ain't been listening. I think I want to go into the shade Radioactive. I think I liked it. We're going to see how it picks up on a flat shadow brush. You know, a lot of times shimmer shades, they work better with like a finger. But we'll see. Okay. Well, it packs on pretty easily with a brush. What I usually like to do is I like to pack it like right in the middle, get it really built up there, and then I'll sweep it to kind of cut out where my crease is. That is pigmented. I don't think it's going to show it as much justice on camera as it is in real life, but it's such a pretty, I mean, it's a gold, but it's a real pretty gold. I really like that. That is super pretty. So now we're going to go into this shade over here. It's called Juniper. It's kind of like this murky green. I really like that though. I'm going to pick that up on my Precision shader. That's what I use for my outer corners. Whoa. I thought that would kind of get a little bit more murkier. That is like holding its color. Holy cow. This one's name is Missy. Missy's about yay big. She's not very big at all. Fun fact though, I was also diagnosed with PCOS. Who gets PCOS in their 40s? This girl. Of course she does, you know. So anyway, I have to have it removed. At that same time, I have a ventral hernia that is going to be removed. Guess where I got that hernia from? That would be from my surgery with Randy. If you're not unfamiliar with what a hernia is, again, not the time to Google that if your stomach is weak. But basically, what it is you have this sac, and that's what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's a sac that covers your organs, and it's called the peritoneum. What happens is when you have trauma to that area of the peritoneum, you can get what's called a hernia, which is basically a tear in that sac. And then when it tears, little bits kind of come out of it. Mine, it's mostly like little bits of fat. There's like a little bit of intestines. So I'm getting a twofer done. I have two surgeons. So I'm going to have my hernia repaired, and I'm going to have M.A.C removed, and that will put me straight into menopause. And let me tell you, what the havoc that this ovary's been causing me, it's a welcome to menopause. I have thalassemia anemia, which is a really weird kind of anemia. It is usually reserved for people of Middle Eastern descent, Mediterranean descent, actually. More so Mediterranean than Middle Eastern, to be quite honest. Type of anemia where your blood cells aren't necessarily the right size, and they don't live for as long as a blood cell should live, so you don't have as many good, like, red ones that can carry the oxygen throughout your body. So I have developed a very severe case of anemia from my thalassemia anemia because I've got so many other issues going on. And so much so that I'm that close to having to have a blood transfusion. That close. But it probably won't happen because as soon as they remove the ovary, that will take care of that problem. And then my anemia will probably go back to, fingers crossed, it will go back to its normal state. And I don't have to have like a transfusion or infusions or anything like that. So again, 5,000 things going wrong with me, but I'm fine. It doesn't stop me. Nothing slows me down. Nothing ever will. That's just kind of my whole philosophy. I'm going to take a little bit of Amrezy and pop it right there on that inner corner. So this is new to me. This is this Wet n Wild, what's this called? Breakup Proof? Yep, Breakup Proof liquid eyeliner. It's a pen, so it's going to be very Kat Von D-esque. I've used this a couple times. I am really impressed with this. There are some that are just redonkulously juicy. This is the worst eyeliner I have ever come across. This is from L'Oreal. It is from the Infallible line. But this is such a messy, it's too juicy. It's such a juicy, messy liner. It is kind of cool though, because it comes with this little guy here. So this is like a wing guide. You see that there? So you can like stick that right there. Not saying that that's not like totally a usable thing. So like if you have a hard time, matter of fact, we're going to play with it, but we're going to do it with this liner. So if you like have a hard time like anchoring up your wings, like, so we're going to go here. Let me turn so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. And like I wouldn't use this to draw in the whole wing, but like to get your little line going, that's what I would use it for. And I don't know why my camera just quit recording on me, so I don't know where I was. But see, yep, now you got your little guide there. This liner is so good. You're almost done. I'm gonna do my lower rim, Urban Decay 0 24 slide on. Usually I wouldn't like do this, but it's Halloween, so and I'm going as a kitty cat, so I feel like my eyes need to be very cat-eyed. Are you ready for 2020 to be over with? I am. Oh my gosh, am I so ready for 2020 to be over with. I saw a meme the other day. I thought, oh my god, that is so fitting and it's so perfect that 2020 should now become a curse word. So, you can say like, what the 2020 is going on here, stuff like that. I think that is hysterical. That's amazing. That needs to be a thing. Okay, so that's looking good. We are going to do some falsies. We are almost done. I know I have been talking about nothing forever. I hope you guys don't mind. I hope you guys have enjoyed and have had fun with me while I'm doing it. So I think these are my Ardell. I think these are 614s or Salon Perfect 614s. I'm not 1,000% sure which one this one is. I mean, that's just kind of what's been going on. Why I've been kind of just on a hiatus. I don't know. I just got so busy with stuff, and then just adjusting from, like I said, that whole, work from home balance. It's been really weird. I mean, I am truly grateful and thankful because I know so many people were not as fortunate as I was and able to stay home and able to keep their job. I know, and I keep saying that I was going to do like an eyelash tutorial video. Still haven't gotten around to that. I will eventually. And then for the bottoms, we're going to go with our CoverGirl, the Clump Crusher, which I'm happy to say, again, this is like the third tube of this I bought that has said water resistant. So now I'm going to go back into our palette here, and I'm going to go into our nice dark shade here called Juniper. You know what? It does look like a juniper tree, kind of. I don't have a mirror. That's the one thing this is missing, but that's why you only paid $4.88 for the palette. It doesn't have a mirror. So we're going to go under here, and I'm just going to press it. I put on my lower lash mascara prematurely. Perfectenschlag. Speaking of Rona, I will say I did have to get a COVID test. 0 stars, would not recommend. So anyway, back in April, I got a sinus infection, and I knew it was a sinus infection. I get sinus infections all the time. I have chronic rhinitis. Another problem. I had to call into work and tell them, yeah, I'm running a fever. It's just a sinus infection. But I am running a fever, so I can't come in. Of course, work says, well, you got to call the COVID hotline. So I already know what's up. I know what's getting ready to go down. They're going through my symptoms. And mind you, this was early April. So this wasn't as publicly known. But they're like, have you had any hip and joint pain? I was like, well, gosh, my hip was hurting me something fierce the other day. Wasn't the fact that, I have a pinched nerve in my back and I have dextroscoliosis because I used to do ballet and, all those kinds of things. Oh, yeah, maybe that was what was causing. Oh, I don't know. Yes, I was having hip pain the other. That's where your mind goes. And they're like, okay, well, you got to come in and get tested. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, it's a sinus infection, guys. They're like, no, you hit criteria. You got to go get tested. You want to come back to work? Well, eventually. Well, then you got to go get tested. Okay. So I pull up to the drive-up testing, and they're like, okay, so, it's got to go back there, and it's got to stay back there for 10 seconds. He says it's going to feel like 10 years. I'm like, dude, please don't hurt me. Come on, you know me. You like me. Please don't hurt me. He's like, no, it's going to feel like 10 years, Leyla. You'll be all right. Got my mask down here, because I'm covering my mouth, because I got to keep my mouth covered, and I got to tilt my head back like so. They start to insert, said, Q-tip, this freaking long. Okay, it wasn't this long, but I'm not kidding you when I tell you it's this long. He goes to put it in. He gets past, like, the first part of my nose, and it starts to tickle my brain. Instant reaction, I went to try and grab it. I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. So, of course, when I did that, I jerked it a little. So this was on me. So he gets it the rest of the way back in there. So it's sitting in the back of my freaking head, just tickling my brain, trying to come out the other side for like 10 whole seconds. And we're counting. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. So he gets it out. They get it done. They're done. I had to go pull over and sit in the parking lot for 5 minutes because my nose bled for 5 minutes. One of the most traumatic things I've ever experienced in my entire life. I'm sitting there in that drive-thru. I'm like, this is how it ends. This is how it ends. So we are done. Oh my gosh, I've been talking forever, guys. Editing this is going to be an absolute nightmare. That is it. So, I really enjoyed actually sitting down and filming again. It's been a long time. I love to film. I have such a good time when I do it. I have missed it. I'm so glad to be back in the thick of it, getting back into it. So definitely be expecting uploads more regularly coming from me. I don't want to set a schedule like 2 a week. I used to do about 2 a week, sometimes 3. So we might be able to get back on there. It's just really going to depend, with being able to edit and stuff and get it up on time. But I'm definitely happy to be back in the thick of things. I definitely would love some suggestions for some stuff you guys would love to see. Stuff you would love to see that you maybe haven't seen in a while. Would you like to like do like only using? I think Emily just pulled up a video. Nothing new. So like a shop your stash type of video. I would love to do that because I mean, honestly, I buy and I try out a lot of new products. There's some stuff that I bring on here. There's some stuff I don't because some things, like the moment I tried it, I'm like, I do not like this. And I'm like, well, that's not fair because it's the first time I've tried it. But I would be, something I've kind of always want to do is like a first impression and a follow-up video. I know Jessica Braun, she does those, and I think she was inspired from someone else. She calls them her speed reviews. So I wouldn't mind doing something like that because, you know me, I'm always buying something new. So let's get into the old rigmarole. Once again, I, of course, want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me today. I truly, truly do appreciate it. But of course, as always, before you leave, make sure that you are subscribe to my channel. You definitely don't want to miss anything I have coming up. And I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.